Yeah, so also on SmackDown, they harken back to the Backlash where and I hated I actually liked the John Cena Randy Orton match up until the R-Truth run in. And then when that happened, it just got I just took me right out of it. I again overall I still liked it, but it would have been a lot better without R-Truth. And of course, like R-Truth's been playing the gimmick for God, I don't know how long, 15 years. That John Cena is his childhood idol. The joke being that I think he's like 10 years older than John Cena. And he does, like if you watch Main Event, and I think he may have done this on Raw occasionally too. He would do the John Cena signature spots, and you can't see me and everything. So he's, and they even did a thing a couple of years ago where he teamed with John Cena. I think it was like John Cena's only match one year. They got it in on like December 30th on a SmackDown or something, so he could have like the consecutive years having at least one match. But so he's been, kind of the only guy that's been sticking up for John Cena. And then at the press conference, he shows up and he's trying to suck up to John Cena, and John Cena puts him through a table. And I didn't see that, so I was glad that they showed it on SmackDown. But then what I wasn't glad about was that they devoted I don't know, what was it, 5 minutes of airtime to air this Ron Killings or R-Truth.
He did have the RKE pendant on his chain. Did you see that? I thought it maybe was like, is there an Ron Killings Entertainment label?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't even notice. But I mean, it was like this almost like a serious interview to the point where I was like contemplating, is R-Truth, I keep wanting to call him Ron Killings, is R-Truth going to be the one that turns John Cena good? Just because of it was very out of character for him. And then it leads to a match that they're going to have at Saturday Night's Main Event. And John Cena has been, he's done his promos where he says, I've only got X amount of dates left. And I mean, the last time he gave us the number, I feel like it was 29. And that was 4 or 5 appearances ago. So you're really and it's not matches, it's appearances. So every time we see John Cena, it's one less time that we're going to see John Cena. And they're wasting one of them on a match with R-Truth. And to me, it's I don't know. If it was me, I would want to have him having meaningful matches, either something that means something historically, like a Randy Orton, one of his historical rivals, if they bring back Brock Lesnar, so something like that. AJ Styles, I don't know if they've ever had a match, something like that, or a young guy that he can put over, like a Braun Breaker, Trick Williams, if he comes in, guys like that. I don't see the benefit of R-Truth other than it's a joke that they've been telling for years, and they want to give a punchline to it. Unless this is going to lead to something, but I don't know. I'm starting to lose. I've been giving them the benefit of the doubt way too much, and I'm starting to think maybe I'm doing it too much.
But that's the equity that they earned with you for being.
Yeah, and maybe they're starting to lose it a bit.
Yeah, for being good, for being creatively, for being much better in the last 2 or 3 years. So I've mentioned this before on probably on 2 different shows. But what I hearken it back to is when I thought about the John Cena heel turn and what I thought would have been the most effective thing for them to do to actually turn him heel and to get the fans to buy into it rather than playing along like they are. They're playing along, which is fine. Like they respect the thing. They don't want to. They're not antagonistic towards the company these days, which is the equity that we just talked about. I thought a very creative thing to do would have been for R-Truth to just be super disappointed and to come out and be like, John, what are you doing? This is all things you stand for. Kind of the promo that he did cut with Wade Barrett.
Yeah.
You stand for hustle, loyalty, and respect, though he didn't have to continually repeat those. That interview was like twice as long as it needed to be. And he goes in and he's like, come on, John. And then John kind of looks at him and he kind of does the aw shucks thing. And he's like, shakes his hand. And then he just beats the living shit out of this dude. And the example that I gave was when Stone Cold Steve Austin in 2001, when he turned heel the vehicle that they used to prove how demonic he was that he beat up Jim Ross.
Right.
And I don't know if you've read Jim Ross's book where he tells this story, but he was pissed. The reason Ross was pissed is, one, it's not what he signed up for because he's not a wrestler. And two, Austin literally stomped boot marks into his
Wow.
head. And after the match, or after the segment, Jim went up to him and was like, "What the F is wrong with you? Did I do something to you?" And Steve was just like, "We just had to make this one real. Like, we had to get the fans to buy into this one." And so I would have had Cena bust R-Truth up and
Mhm.
then have some jobbers come out to try and stop him, and then he tosses those dudes out, and you just leave R-Truth laying in a in a mess of blood, and that signifies okay, he's not the same guy as he once was.
See,
Now
I wouldn't do. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
they may still do that at Saturday Night's Main Event. Like, it may not even be a match; it may just be an angle. I think it'd be more effective as an angle because so far, the match with Cody, you liked it better than I did. I thought it was not good. The match with Randy Orton was better, but it was smoke and mirrors better
Yeah.
because all they were doing was hitting finishers for the most part. I don't know what you do in a match with R-Truth.
No, I mean, it's got to be what you said. Like, it's got to be just a beatdown. That scenario you were describing, I think it would have worked so much better with, and then you have to like go all the way back to probably like Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber to get to this point. But you could have had like a Sami Zayn win Elimination Chamber, let's say, and then Sami Zayn's going to get that world title shot, and then you have John Cena come in and cost Sami Zayn the world title, a guy that the fans really care about, they're really behind, they think this is his moment, and then you have him cut a promo and you say like, like this guy's a joke. Like this guy was on the indie scene. He was under a mask. He was this, he was that. I've been here 25 years, hustle, loyalty, respect, blah, blah, blah. And you could get some stakes behind where the fans actually really like the guy he screwed over and really don't like him. That would work. Whereas with R-Truth, like, yeah, I mean, people like him, but I don't think they really care about him like the way that they do on a level of a Sami Zayn or some other Jey Uso, like those high level baby faces. And yeah, and John Cena. I mean, the fact is he can't do a match. You say like, let me be clear. I like the Cena Cody match more than you did, but I wouldn't say it was good. I would say the Cena Orton match up until the finish was actually fairly good. Like it was a pretty good match that got ruined. And yeah, whatever shortcuts they needed to do. I mean, that's what you do. Like you've got a guy that is, I mean, he's 10 years past his prime and hasn't wrestled in that time. And for whatever reason, The Rock was able to do it. I mean, I think The Rock being able to have these good matches in his mid to late 40s is almost a miracle. Considering the amount of time he took off, and Cena just wasn't able to do it. I don't know if he didn't train as seriously. I think probably what a lot of what it is that this is in Dwayne's blood. Whereas John Cena, this is something he learned to do and he got really good at it, and then he became an actor. Whereas like when Dwayne is 70, he'll still be a wrestler at heart, and John Cena will be retired by then.